Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about lesson 70, writing fractions and decimals as percents. So let's take a look at example number 1. Write 7/100ths as a percent. Well, there are a few ways that I can visually think about this if I'm having trouble figuring out what the percentage is. The first is to imagine a 100 grid. I'm not going to quite make 100, but you'll get the idea. So if I had a 100 grid and I filled in 7 of them, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, you get the idea. 7 out of these 100, or 7%, will have been filled. I could also think of it as money. 7/100ths is like 7 pennies. Okay, 7 pennies is the same as 7 cents, which is the same as 7%. Okay, not to get confused with 70%. This is only 7, very small. Okay, let's look at example 10. Or I'm sorry, example 2. Example 10, I'm jumping ahead. No, there aren't that many, there are only 6. Example 2, write 1/10 as a percent. Think back to lesson 69 where we talked about multiplying by an equivalent fraction or a fraction equivalent to 1 in order to change the denominator. So when I talk about percentages, my denominator has to be 100. Percents are always out of 100. So 10 times what equals 100? 10/10ths. So I multiply my numerator. 1 times 10 is 10. So my equivalent fraction to 1/10 is 10/10ths, or I'm sorry, the fraction equivalent to 1/10 is 10/100ths, which is equivalent to 10%. Okay, you can also think of it like money. I have 10 cents out of 100 cents. 10%. Okay, example 3. In a class of 24 students, 12 students ride to and from the bus, or ride to and from school on a bus. What percent of the students in the class ride the bus? Okay, well I'm going to start by making a fraction. 12 students out of 24. 12 24ths. Well, 12 24ths reduces to 1/2. Okay, half of 24 is 12, so this is 1/2. Then I can do two things. I either know that half is 50%, or again, I multiply by a fraction equivalent to 1 to get a denominator of 100. Well, 2 times 50 is 100. 50 over 50, 1 times 50 is 50, so I have 50/100ths, which is that 50%. Okay, notice I took a shortcut first saying 1/2 and went straight to the 50%. If you know that 1/2 is 50%, that's fine. If not, show your work and solve it this way. Okay, example 4. Write 19/100ths as a percent. Well, I can write 0.019 several ways. The original way, I can write it as a fraction, 19/100ths, and then it is equivalent to 19%. I don't need to change it into a fraction. I can go straight to the percentage because I know that this is in the hundredths place. However, going from the decimal to the fraction and then to the percent can be helpful as well. Okay, example 5. Write 0.03 as a percent. Well, let's start by writing as the decimal, 0.03. Then I'm going to change it to a fraction. Because the 3 is in the hundredths place, my denominator is going to be 100. Well, I only have 3 hundredths. I don't have 30. These aren't in different positions. I only have 3 hundredths. So that's what it looks like in the fraction, which is the same as 3%. Okay, all right, and finally example 6. Write 0.6 as a percent. Okay, 0.6 is my decimal. However, this is in the tenths place, but I need it in the 100ths place. So in order to do that, I'm going to put a 0 here in the hundredths place. So now I read this as 60 hundredths, not 6 hundredths. That would have a 6 right here. Okay, but I don't have a 6 in the hundredths place. It's in the tenths place. Think of this as like 66 dimes. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 cents. So I've converted 0.6 to 61 hundredths, which is the same as 60%. Okay, that's it for examples. Off to your lesson practice, and I will see you in the morning.